Chibok, located in the southern part of Borno State, is about 125 kilometers from the capital, Maiduguri, at the heart of the Sambisa forest. On this day in 2014, female students of the then government girls secondary school Chibok were abducted by Boko Haram terrorists and taken into the Sambisa forest. 10 years on, 179 of those students have either escaped or been released, but 92 of them remain unaccounted for. Several of the girls returned to their families as mothers, others as widows of late terrorists, very few lucky to return unmarried and or without children. Some of the parents were delighted to see their children on their return, regardless of their status. The others continue to wonder about the fate of their daughters. It was a free reign of emotions at the 10th year interfaith prayer service organized by parents of the abducted girls. Religious leaders and parents could not hold back their tears as various speakers recounted their ordeals and the efforts to get the remaining girls free.
A lot of girls has been adopted in this country, but why our own is so exceptional? Up to these days, we are still having a lot of them missing. That's what makes us so much annoyed, because of government give a series of promise that they will get these girls out.
There are so many efforts that my local government are doing to see that these girls are released. So many times we had security meetings, we challenge the militaries. We give them information.
Some of the parents of the girls still in captivity were in tears while recounting their experiences to Channels Television.
When the incident happened at that 14th April, in fact, we were all shocked. And even though we are still waiting to see how the government and even those that can help to see that this almost 10 years we didn't see our daughter, we are still praying for Allah to, go around the issue to bring them back for us alive.
I've been unhappy since I heard of our coming here, and I've been praying that our children return so I can also rejoice with others.
The Borno State government renovated and renamed the school to Government Secondary School Chibok 7 years after the abduction, turning it into a non-boarding school. The principal of the school, however, says discussions are ongoing to revert to the original status of boarding for both boys and girls.
The structure of the school has been expanded more than before, because currently we are having, in terms of every structure, we have enough. And in terms of the student, the population of students is also increasing, unlike the time when the school resumed. So really, the structure of the school is now fully in operation, and students and teachers are also okay with the system at the place that is Chibok. It's not a boarding school. We are operating on day basis.
To ensure the safety of the school, a Brigade Commander 28 Task Force Chibok, Brigadier General Bede Amako, sheds more light on the extra measures taken.
Efforts are being made at various levels, from the federal to the state, and especially in the military hierarchy, to make sure that we do all within our powers to make sure that these girls are out.
According to statistics released by parents of the abducted Chibok girls, 271 students were abducted on that unfortunate day. 57 girls escaped shortly after in 2014, while 103 were released through the interventions of the federal government, and 20 others were released by the efforts of the state government. But 92 students still remain in captivity.
So let's now get some more insight into the abduction of the Chibok schoolgirls 10 years ago and what has been done so far to bring back the girls. And we are being joined on the news at 10 by a former Minister of Education and a co-convener of the Bring Back Our Girls group, Dr. Oby Ezekwesili. Dr. Ezekwesili joins us from our studios in Abuja. Great to have you on the news at 10, Dr. Ezekwesili.
Good evening.
All right, so Dr. Ezekwesili, it's indeed been 10 years. Some of the girls are back and some are still missing. How do you feel about all that has happened in the last 10 years since the girls were abducted? But before you get into that, can you just, if you will, kindly help us address the discrepancy in the number of the girls still missing? From our calculations, there's supposed to be 91. But of course, we're hearing numbers that perhaps mean that it's 92. Some are even saying perhaps 93. What's the actual number, Dr. Ezekwesili?
Well, we, as of today, have now said that information that is accurate lies on the table of the government of Nigeria, that is the federal government, because according to the data that the Kibaki Association, organization, which is the Chibok Community Association has, they actually say 82 from the original list that we knew of the children that the Sabu committee. You remember that there was the Brigadier General Sabu committee that was set up some 6 months or thereabouts after the incident of the Chibok girls tragedy. When you checked out names against it, you find that it's the numbers are closer to what the Chibok community people are saying than to the 91 that is sometimes quoted. But all of these show clearly why this opaqueness around the matters of Chibok girls remains totally unacceptable. The federal government needs to be providing information. There is need for status update on who has been rescued and who remains unrescued. And for those who remain unrescued, what is the latest in terms of a rescue strategy for them? All of that would fall within the realms of government understanding that it has accountability for Chibok girls, whether rescued or still in captivity. There is a responsibility for the federal government. And I know that sometimes people wonder, why do you say federal government all the time? Well, because the matter of security and the establishments that are responsible for practically everything that has to do with security is the constitutional mandate of the federal government. And so this centralized monopoly of the institutions and agencies of security makes it really the call of the federal government to provide answers to situations of this kind, which also shows how ridiculous it is that local level issues are now centralized so badly that we have to call on the federal government in order to know data of incidents like this.
Now, Dr. Ezekwesili, did you actually ever imagine that 10 years down the line, we'll still be talking about the missing Chibok schoolgirls? And in fact, do you think we've actually had, or have we learned any lesson at all, from this incident? Are we doing enough in order to keep our schools safe and secure?
Wow, there are too many questions, but I'll try to remember all of them. So number one is, have we learned any lessons? Because we haven't learned any lessons. What we actually did in the poor, almost horrific response to the tragedy of Chibok girls signaled to those who seek to destroy what we know to be our civilization, which is that education is the basis of a triumphant progress of any society, especially because it is what lifts the poor from one station of life to another level of it. And so if an ideology says that education is abhorrent, or education is an anomaly or an abomination, then it is fighting our civilization. And what we did by not responding effectively, swiftly, to the distress of Chibok girls and their parents, but getting them trapped in some very insane conversations around politics and power and all kinds of total irrelevancies, things that were clearly a case of measuring in the minors while children were in captivity, was to signal that we place zero value on the lives of our children. So once we did that, what we ended up doing was we created a market for abduction of children, but not just children anymore. It's the abduction of anyone that comes within our clause of abduction. And so when you asked me the other question of, did I ever imagine that we would be on a 10-year journey? You know, I didn't even imagine that we would be on a 3-month journey. At the time that I joined my voice, and you know, when I say joined my voice, I would actually say brought my voice into the matter. It was exactly on the day that BBC tweeted that Chibok girls had been abducted from their school in Chibok, Borno State. And I never stopped. The social media campaign that I commenced concerning Chibok girls dovetailed into what happened on April 30th. We were ahead by 2 weeks in calling attention. The hashtag Bring Back Our Girls already was massive on social media. And so when women of Nigeria decided to gather at the Unity Fountain and show solidarity for Chibok girls, it adopted that hashtag. Now, at the time we began to, when we decided that this was going to be a matter to focus on until the federal government would take action concerning the girls, I thought, at the most, you know, maybe 1 month, because strangely, it was not until 3 weeks after the Chibok girls were taken that the federal government acknowledged that a tragedy of that kind actually happened.
Dr. Oby Ezekwesili, we'll definitely have to end it there. I really appreciate you, but we will definitely run out of time. But we thank you so much for your thoughts, of course, on the news at 10. And let's hope that the remaining schoolgirls still in captivity will definitely return to their parents. Thank you so much again, Dr. Oby Ezekwesili, on the news at 10.